right, that was a crazy game tonight. Lots of swings throughout. How did it feel to get the win at home?
Huge. I mean, we needed to, obviously start performing a little better at home. Our fans deserve better, and been really good on the road, obviously, but we need to find ways to win here. And it was not a pretty win, but at the end of the day, the win's a win and it goes in the win column, so we'll take it.
The 7-goal run that you guys went on between the first and the second quarters, what did you like about the resolve, the resiliency of the group through that stretch?
Yeah, we went down early, and the last few games we've had good starts, and we've been kind of getting ahead and playing with leads. So obviously had to deal with a little bit of adversity, but we knew the D settled in and made stops for us and got us some more possessions, and we were shooting the ball well in the first half. Obviously, the ball was dropping for us. Second half was a little bit weird, and I think we only ended up with 13 shots, and 13 shots and a half isn't going to win you a whole lot of lacrosse games. But luckily, we were able to build ourselves enough of a lead there with like you said, with the 7-goal run. So we need usually you need to find a way to play 60 minutes to win in this league, and we were able to squeak one out tonight. But again, we're happy with the win.
What would you like to take forward to next week as you play Saskatchewan?
I mean, more so obviously from last week than this week. I mean, that was obviously a better effort, but a lot of stuff from the first half we can take out. I think we just need to take a little better care of the ball in the second half. There was a lot of turnovers, and I think we just kind of sat back in our lead and hoped to kind of ride it out. And offensively, I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive and play like we did in the first half. But I mean, that's obviously a really good team in Saskatchewan. It's a tough place to play against a really good team. So we're going to obviously need to have our A game.
Your 7 goals tonight makes at least 600 in your career. What do you think of when you think about all those goals? Do you think about teammates, milestones? Like what kind of goes through your mind?
Yeah, that'll be those are the cool milestones that you'll be able to look back at at the end of your career and be proud of. But obviously the teammates I've had over my career have been a big part of that. Been fortunate enough to play with a lot of really good players that have got me open and got me able to score those goals. So it's just been a lot of fun, and if you play long enough, you're going to score a lot of goals. So been around for a long time, so no, I think it's a cool milestone, and I'll be able to look back at it after I'm all done and be proud of it.
That's 2 real gritty games 2 weeks in a row. What does that do for a group?
It's big. It's big. Again, obviously, we went into last week 4-2. We easily could have came out 4-4, but heading in close to the halfway point here at 6-2, I think is not exactly where we wanted to be, but we can't be too upset about it. Puts us near the top of the standings, and gives us obviously the tiebreaker against those guys. That's a good lacrosse team that's going to win more games this year. So giving us the tiebreaker against them is massive, and just playing good lacrosse right now. We offensively weren't happy with our game, and obviously the first few games of the year there, and we're starting to gel and obviously build that chemistry. So we're getting to where we want to be, and like I said, we're playing good lacrosse right now.
But it was 2 overly physical games.
Yeah,
and you guys stuck together as a group. What does that do for a team?
We know that's how our defense plays. They're big and they're mean, and they're athletic and aggressive back there, and teams want to play that style against us, and they got a good defense. They got some big guys back there, and it's a little tougher to move bodies and find those open spaces, but I think we did a really good job of that the last 2 weeks. So that shows on the scoreboard, but we got to keep that up heading forward in the season here.
What did you see happen in the warm-up?
I saw a heck of a scrap between 2 tough guys. I think their guy stepped over center and was saying a few words, and Subi took exception to that, and it was just a good clean scrap. Can't say I've ever seen that happen in this league before, but it was just good clean fun, and everyone, the fight happened, everyone walked away, and that was it. So it definitely got the boys sparked.
What was the mood on the bench when you guys were down 5-2?
Just stick with the game plan, as cliche as it sounds. We knew, we obviously knew from the week prior that we had what it took to beat those guys, and just didn't want to panic and get away from our game plan, because that's when we start to struggle, and that's what we were kind of doing earlier in the year. So, our coaching staff's the best in the league, and, they put us in a good position to succeed. So we knew if, we stuck to what, the principles that they put forward, that, we were going to have success, and obviously we did that.
What was clicking offensively tonight?
Just moving the ball, shooting well. I think at one point we had like 10 goals on 20 or 21 shots. So that's not going to happen every week, but we were just we were finding the back of the net, and we were sharing the ball, and anytime you can get the defense moving and find those open spaces, you're going to have success. So that's something we need to obviously continue moving forward.
Do you think you're gelling a lot more now?
For sure, for sure. And we knew it was going to take time. We didn't want it to take as much time as it did, but obviously some new pieces, myself included, in the offensive end. It's not going to click instantly, but a lot of really talented lacrosse players up front, obviously. So we've managed to figure it out and start putting the ball in the back of the net.
Going into tonight, was it one of your goals to make that 600 goal record?
Yes, I think my sixth one was 600, and I wasn't completely aware of it, but I think when I went at halftime, someone had mentioned something. So it was, like I said, it's a pretty cool milestone to hit.
And then can you also talk about the fans tonight, the ones that were just really rallying for you guys?
That's like I said earlier, these fans deserve better than what we've kind of been performing at home, and they willed us to victory tonight. And that's the home floor advantage that we play for all year to get those home playoff games, and that's the reason we need to play well, and we need to start playing well at home. Get the wins here because we want to be able to host those playoff games.
What would you say you're most proud of tonight from your team?
Just the perseverance. Obviously, they battled back, and again, it's a really good lacrosse team on the other side there, and they weren't going to give up, especially after we thumped them last week. So they have a lot of pride over there, and just being able to hang on, obviously, and gut out a gutsy win.
You played with Jesse for a long time. He had 10 points tonight. Just what does that mean to you, just seeing your friend do really well?
He's just a heck of a lacrosse player. He's coming on strong these last few weeks, and he's always been that guy. And again, when we won in 2019 in Calgary, it was no coincidence. When we started winning, he came back from a broken collarbone and kind of completely turned that season around. So that's just the kind of lacrosse player that he is. He's unselfish, but he can obviously put the ball in the net, kind of at will. And he's a huge part of this team.
Coach, you get the series sweep tonight. How do you feel about the game?
To be honest, like a win's a win, and they're really tough to come by in this league, especially when you're playing the team back to back, and you pounded them pretty good game one. You knew they got a lot of pushback. They got a great coaching staff. Hazer's a good friend of mine, and they do a really good job there, and they got a lot of heart. So we knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. I didn't like the fact that we got up and then we kind of let them crawl back into the game, but it is a game of runs. So I don't want to pick it apart too bad, but I think we could be a little bit better on our composure at times, and I think we were a little bit scrambly and kind of squeezed our sticks. But you know what? That's what the season's for, is learning lessons, and hopefully we can overcome that next week in Sask.
When you guys were down 5-2, but they kept their composure, you guys finished the quarter up 7-5. What did you like about that quarter?
We just stuck with it. You know what I mean? It's like teams, like it's usually you're not going to win a game in the first quarter, so we just played those 5 minutes at a time, and we just keep grinding and try not to look at the scoreboard. We have a lot of talent this year up front, so just a matter of time they're going to get some looks. And the guys shot the ball extremely well on their goalie, and they hit their shots. We're pretty motivated after what he did to Sharps last weekend, so it wasn't easy to try to make sure that you're putting the ball through the net, and we wanted to chase them. And that's something that our guys did. We didn't have to deal with we didn't run them. We could have ran them at the end there, but we didn't. We made a choice to play honest. I mean, I know the two guys got into it early, but that's just two guys that care about their teammates. And but I think overall we just stick to the plan, and wasn't pretty, but we're going to take it.
Curtis has 7 goals tonight, and then that's over 600 in his career. When you think about his legacy, and you've coached him for so many years, what do you think of?
Competitor, great teammate, champion, leader. And just a guy that wills himself to the net, and he's just a game breaker. You watch tonight, some of those shots were like, I was kind of had to go to the tablet to have a look at them again because they were so nice. And he just the bigger the moment, the better Curtis is, and he's been doing it year after year. I think he's 37 now, and he's still doing it. So pretty special. He keeps himself in great shape, and for all the young guys, it's someone they can really model themselves after.
Did you think about him getting 10 tonight?
No, I didn't. I can honestly say I don't know until I look at the score sheet after the game. I knew he had a bunch. I seen socks flying on the floor, and I'm thinking, did he have 6? I really didn't know for sure, to be honest with you. So all I want to make sure is we got one more than them. I'm really focused on that. I'm not a stat-driven guy other than team stats. So when he had a 7, that's great. But I don't know. We got the win.
What did you see happen in the warm-up?
I just think there's a little bit of bantering back and forth, and there's the tensions were high, and I think after last week when we weren't happy about it, our plan was to let our play do the talking. It wasn't we weren't planning on doing that, and they ended up just two guys that care about their teams just got into it, and they punched each other in the teeth a little bit, and that was the end of it. I don't think there's nothing too big about it, and I guess but because it was in the warm up and there's a fight that the league said that you got a game misconduct, but there was nothing more than that. I talked to Hazer after. There's no bad blood. It's just kind of get it out of the way, and we play lacrosse.
Two teams playing a shorter guy. How does that change?
We dressed 6 up front, so we had the extra D guy, so it was okay for us. But we looked at that, and it was luckily because usually teams dress 7, they dress 7, so they're one less D guy for us. We just had the extra D guy, so it didn't hurt us too bad. So, but at the end of the day, we're pretty proud that Subi stood up for his teammates, and I'm sure they think the same way with Biles.
If the goalie isn't playing tonight, if he's suspended, does that happen?
No, I don't know. I think it's just like, the guys care a lot about their teammates, and they care a lot about their teams. And those two guys, like, it's not an easy job. We all know in sports to be a heavyweight, man, it's a tough job. And, they both care about their teams, and they're like, I'm going to fight for the front of my shirt, and you're going to fight the front of yours. And you know what? Hartley's going to do what he's going to do. I'm just super disappointed he didn't reach out to Charbonneau and apologize. Like, to me, that'd be the first thing I do. I would be owning it and said, you know what? I'm not going to say I'm sorry for what I did because, he made a conscious decision to run out and hit him. But I would have definitely reached out and said, I'm sorry about how it happened. I own my part of it, and I'll be better for it. But that didn't happen, so I think our guys are a little pissed about that. But you know what? He's a young kid; he'll learn from it.
How strange was it to coach a game like that? Just after that, I mean, that normally doesn't happen, right? That start to a night.
Man, I love what Subi did. I'll be honest with you, man. He got the game ball. Like, he stood up for his team, and I love that passion. I love that heart, and that's why he's here. Like, he stood up for his guys. Like, there was back and forth banter, and he's like, I'm not, they wanted to go, and Subi, for me, that I'm proud of what he did. I'm not upset. I loved it.
No, but it's a strange night. To come back and, after that isn't what you normally do. Does that change your thinking?
Well,
does it change your preparation?
It was wrestling night. Might as well have at it, right? Might as well have at it. So, no, it doesn't at all. I was like, it just got us jacked up, and it got them jacked up. Like, maybe them more than us at 5-2, but we just stuck with it. And when a guy does that, you got to rally around him and support him.
What do you see to Dell from the team when you guys are down 5-2?
Just take a breath, enjoy the game. It's got to be, it's at a pro level, everyone's getting paid, but it comes with a lot of stress and pressure, especially in his position. He's been so good for us all year. You can't expect him to be 10 out of 10 every night, and he struggled a little bit, and he just needed a breath and, just regroup and reset and just get a little bit of confidence, have a little, enjoy it, have fun, man. There's like family and friends here. Like, at the end of the day, you don't win the game, the sun comes up tomorrow, and that's how we kind of look at it. So kudos to him for clearing his head and sticking in there.
And since preseason, you talked with the offense team the last thing, like that's all you've been saying. And, you guys have back-to-back big offensive nights. Is this what you can expect out of your offense moving forward? And this is what you envisioned?
Well, 16 a night's a big ask, and we're going to go into Saskatchewan next week, and we shot the ball really well. Our fourth quarter, sometimes you get the lead like that, you kind of sit on your heels a little bit, and you just try to manage clocks. But we're more around 12. 11, 12 is probably where we want to play, and keep them at 10, 9 or 10 would be ideal. But, it's nice that we got contribution the last 2 games. We'll take it for sure. And, I like the confidence that the guys have out there, and they're starting to really mesh together and understanding where they need to be on the floor and what the other guy likes to do, how long he holds a pick, how long if he slips or he brushes. So we're learning the tendencies, which is kind of a byproduct of the goals.
Were you saying it's trending in the right direction?
Yeah, no, for sure. There's no question our power play is 5 for 7. Our power play's been really good. It's been hot, and that's a testament to the guys that shoot the ball really well at the top. But you know what? Now you're playing the #1 team in the National Lacrosse League, and we'll see where we stand. But the guys' effort and their commitment and their focus has been great.
And going back to the team, can you talk about what it means to be a coach for a team that really sticks together and sticks up for each other, especially on the field?
Super proud, like super proud just to be around those guys, and super fortunate. Those guys are just great people. The organization gives us all the tools to be successful. I'm super proud to be a part of this organization, super proud to be in that dressing room and just being around them and getting to meet their families and their kids. And I think it's just so special. It's kind of what it's all about. Like, I know wins and losses it's a, performance-based business, and money drives things at times, but it's just nice being around guys that really care about the lacrosse in BC, and it shows, and it's just heartwarming, and it's kind of what we want to do is grow the game, so it's nice.
And then how much of that loud arena really helped out tonight, because those fans were going crazy for every call? Yeah,
they're great. Like, it's I don't know, like, you go to other buildings, maybe when you're on the road you don't really hone in on the other team's crowd, like how loud they are, but they sure, I'm like, wow, like, they get my attention and they get our guys' attention. So they talk about it all the time, and we're 1-2, and I said last time we're super disappointed with our record at home, and our fans deserve better, and there was 31 goals tonight, and I think they enjoyed it, and we can't do it without them, and we'll be back in a few weeks to see them again.
Jesse, some wild swings in this one. How does it feel to get the win at home tonight?
It's really good. I think, we kind of struggled at home a little bit this season. So I think to get that at home, especially in a home-and-home, season series, it's super important. And Coach, he made it very evident that we should treat this like a playoff game. And I think we were able to do that, and that's why we were really successful.
Yeah, you guys sweep the series against Rochester. What does that mean as far as, especially in that first quarter, keeping even keel? How do you like how you guys did that tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot, obviously, because we came out on top. We've played really well the last couple of games in the first 5 minutes, and that's kind of how we've broken it up. And I think, we kind of struggled this in the first 5 minutes tonight, but being able to, stay even keel, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and be able to go on those runs, that's what you just have to be able to understand. Across the game of runs, we're going to have ours. Our offense is playing probably the best it has all year so far, so I think it's just trusting that process and knowing that we're going to be successful if we stick to it.
I know that we've talked before about you hadn't been happy with a lot of your games this season, but how did you feel about tonight, 10 points?
I mean, I'm happy we got the win. We're going into a big week against a really good team next weekend, so that's kind of where my focus is, and that's where I know the guys' focus is as well.
How kind of strange was the start, the warm-up?
It's strange, but I think a lot of it was probably a little more expected. There's obviously some tension with what happened to on the floor to one of our brothers last weekend, and props to Subs for stepping up when guy comes over our center line and does something like that. So I mean, all the props to Jackson tonight, and I think he handled it well.
If Rylan Hartley's not playing, does that happen?
I don't know. I don't have that answer, but we were able to chase him out of the net tonight, so I think that's a pretty good success on our end, and we felt pretty good about that.
What do you like about the offense when it's going well?
Playing fast. When we slow down and we hold on to the ball too long, we talk about those 1-2 seconds hold on the ball, moving it. That's when we get a little bit too methodical, and I think it gets a little bit too expected. When we play fast and we're moving our feet, moving the ball, that's when we're so good. We're so good, and we swing the ball and we shoot off swings, and we play as five guys instead of playing as one or two.
This is the team that's used to being down 5-1 off the start. The fact you guys rallied from that has to say something about the chemistry.
Yeah, I think the chemistry is good. I get big props to our coaching staff because they keep us pretty even keel, and they keep us focusing on those 5-minute segments. I think that's where our success is. And when we're able to celebrate little things, when our defense comes up with a big stop, and we get a really big goal in transition, I think those are kind of celebrating those little plays that make a big difference. And when you can celebrate those and then piggyback off them and continue on with that confidence and that momentum, it's super important. And we've been able to do that the last couple of games.
Feels like you guys are trending right. Does it feel like that from the inside?
Yeah, I think you're never satisfied. The trend is good so far, but we've got a big week. We've got a big week here, and then we've got another 6 weeks straight with I think 7 games. So we're just taking it one game at a time, 1 5-minute segment at a time.
These have been 2 very intense games the last 2 weeks. What does that do for a group?
I think it creates a lot of camaraderie in our locker room. Guys are, we're hanging out a lot more together. It's the chemistry is coming along really well. Obviously for myself and a couple other guys are coming into a new locker room. Start of the year, you're kind of getting to know guys. We obviously know each other, but getting to know each other on a different level, I think it's super important. And you're seeing that success translate onto the floor.
Since the preseason, Curt said the offense from the last thing's going to click. Third straight big game offense for you guys. Is what you guys envision as an offense when you guys got together in training camp?
I mean, I think this is kind of like we're trending towards that right direction. Again, I'll go back to being us just never being satisfied. I think, we had a really great first half, but I think our second half, we struggled immensely. Whether it's not getting enough possessions or, the ball getting a little too stagnant. I think those, we talk about the 5-minute segments like I have all night, but being able to complete those 5-minute segments into a full 60 is super important. And if we would have done that, I think it wouldn't have been as close as it had been.
Do you think you guys are gelling more as an offense?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't hurt when Curt scores 7 goals, So when a guy like that can score big goals, how he does his whole entire career, it definitely helps the momentum. And I think you see the confidence that it gives other guys. I thought Marcus went so super hard to the net tonight. He was rewarded a couple of times. Bides does a lot of the really small stuff really well, and Sherry I think stepped up and took some big hits and drew a lot of penalties. So.
And then coming off of the last time you guys played Rochester, were you expecting that this game was going to be as intense as it was?
Yeah, absolutely. We knew it was going to be a gritty game. These home and homes are always gritty, especially when you're playing against the same team twice, and especially with what happened last week. So we expected that. I know Curt, Dickson and I were talking about it before the game, knowing it was going to be kind of like that summer ball game where it's gritty. They're going to play tight. They're going to play packed, and we're just going to have to hit our shots and get to the middle of the floor the best we can.
Yeah, and how was the talk in the locker room about bringing that intensity onto the floor and making it more about a fast-paced gameplay?
Yeah, I think we just stick to that game plan. Our game plan as an offense is to play fast and look for early opportunities offensively and try and catch them off guard. And if it's not there, we work into our systems. And we did that really well in the first half. Like I said, moving into that second half, I think we got away from it a little bit. And if we would have stayed trending in that scenario, we probably would have won by a bit more. But, our first half was fantastic. So thankfully, that's how it went.
You talk about Curtis and his 7 goals. He scored over 600 career goals in tonight's game. What is his legacy? When you think about him as legacy, what does that mean to you?
First and foremost, he's just a good friend. Obviously, I played with Dix for a long time in Calgary, and then, he left and came back, and now we're both here. He just does the little things so well, and I think that's people really undervalue how good of an off-ball player Curtis Dickson is, because when he does have the ball on his stick, he is really dynamic, but he works his tail off in the middle of the floor off the ball, so it's not really that surprising, to be honest. And again, when you can feed the guy a ball and know he's going to score a big goal for you and have that momentum kind of shift for you, it gives you confidence. It obviously feeds his confidence, and the guys around him just radiate.
To see a guy like that scoring, how he's scoring 37.
Yeah. He was telling me before the game. He was like, I'm coming up on my 20-year college graduation. I was like, oh my God.
But he doesn't play like that.
No. He, again, I think he takes care of himself, right? So I think when guys are able to take care of themselves off the floor, and he does a really good job of that, you can see that it can transition in the way. And he's just such a hardworking guy, and he's a good guy as well. So it's easy to get along with him, but it's also easy to see how he's successful.